Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner, and probably one of the most wildest editions, because the Paul Pelosi attack has now been brought back to the spotlight. That was the incident that happened right before Halloween in mid-October, where Paul Pelosi, who is the husband of Nancy Pelosi, was apparently severely attacked by an intruder with a hammer. He apparently broke into the home, hit him multiple times. He went to the hospital. It was big headlines, big story for like a week, maybe a week and a half, and then all of a sudden it just went complete dark. Nobody knew anything more about this case. No interviews were made. Nothing was said about this. They just completely went silent about this. But now, because someone did a Freedom of Information Act on the evidence and body cam footage, we are now able to present to you more details on what exactly happened. And let me tell you, the details make this case even more bizarre. It is more bizarre to a situation that was already bizarre to begin with. I mean, things didn't add up to begin with when we showed you at first the original story, but now it just gets even more crazier. So here's this, for instance. Here's this, for instance. So they broke the story saying, breaking, footage of the attack on Paul Pelosi has been released to the public after a judge denied prosecutors' requests to keep it a secret. Now, that alone is already suspicious. That alone is pretty damn suspicious, that you're talking about one of the most influential, wealthiest political families in North America, almost probably the world. I mean, outside of Saudi Arabia, I think the Pelosis have higher rankings than any other family political dynasty out there. Like they're the number 3 in the United States. She's the number 3rd person to take over presidency if something happened to Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Like they're that influential, that higher up in the political sphere and the social hierarchy. Like it was suspicious to begin with. But why did they keep this a secret? Why wouldn't this be top notch about one of the most, important people in politics getting attacked by this ruthless killer with a hammer? Wouldn't you want to know about this? Why would Nancy Pelosi, the Democrats, and other political insiders want to keep this a secret? That's already suspicious to begin with. And we haven't even gotten to the body cam footage. But here it is here, ladies and gentlemen. So they just released it. Like I said, part of a Freedom of Information Act. And it makes the case more bizarre. It makes it even more bizarre. Let's just say that. It makes it more bizarre than it already is. And let's just show it to you, and then we'll figure it out from there. But the first few seconds, there's no sound until the sound gets on. But listen what the cops say at the beginning of this.
Yeah, definitely don't want all of here.
So, I don't know if you heard. The cop that's going into the house, which, by the way, most influential political insider trader, you would think there would be more top-notch security. Like, the cop's just able to walk through this neighborhood. Walk right into their house. I don't know if they have Secret Service for Speaker of the House. I don't know if they... But you think they would have top-notch security. You think they would have high-level security at a place like this in San Francisco when you have the number 3rd person in the presidential... Like, you would think. If you're that high up in politics, you're the most influential, you're the fundraiser of the Democratic Party, as Nancy Pelosi would like to point out. You would think there'd be more security. But the cop comes in, he walks to the home, and he says, I don't want you here. I wish you weren't here. You want to hear that again? You want to hear it again? That's suspicious, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely don't want all of here.
I definitely don't want all you here. He's saying that to the other officers. Now, why would you be saying that if you don't know what the situation unfolds? You think the way he's saying it, it's almost like he knows what's going to happen. But he's saying to them, I don't want you here. Well, you're at the home of Paul Pelosi, the husband and Speaker of the House. They have insider trading deals. They have been caught with political malfeasance. They have crimes beyond belief. And they're the most unpopular people in politics. Like I said, they're the most wealthiest individuals in Washington, but they're the most unpopular when it comes to Main Street America. You would think there'd be more security. You think this would be more of an attention to this. But the cop says, I really don't need you here. And he says it again. Listen.
I definitely don't want Olive here. Hello.
I definitely don't want you here. I definitely don't want you here. Who says that as they're about to walk into a crime scene? Unless you know exactly what's already going to happen. Who says that at a 911 call where you have this influential guy calling the cops saying, hey, some guy broke into my house with a hammer and he's about to kill me. And the cops saying, I really wish you guys weren't here. And I'm assuming he's saying that to the other officers that are near him. This is just, it's already so suspicious as is, and already so bizarre. It gets even more crazy. It gets even more crazy because now they're about to arrive at the house. So they're knocking at the door. They're knocking at the door. You have to keep in mind, they've already been called. They know that there's a person inside, intruder inside, who's a crazed maniac holding a weapon about to attack Paul Pelosi. And they're knocking at the door, walking casually, pretending that they know they definitely know something's up. They know something's going to happen. So, here's more to this.
Yeah. Fucking said 2620, right? No, 2640. Oh, 40. Yeah, it literally said that.
So did you see that? Did you see how the door just swang open? Let me play that again just to show people just how this is literally so bizarre.
Guys.
So the door just swings open. Just casually. Again, you have a crazed maniac who supposedly broke into your house holding a weapon and is threatening to kill you. And the cops come in casually. They knock on the door. You swing the door open. And there's the two of them. There's Paul Pelosi on the right and the supposed threatening killer on the left, and they're both holding on to the hammer, and it's just so bizarre. Now, what I'm assuming is that Paul Pelosi opened the door. I'm assuming that in that position, he would have opened the door, but I don't understand. I don't understand this case. I don't understand if someone broke into your house and is holding a weapon and threatening to kill you, why would you be standing next to them? Why would you be next to them, holding on to that weapon and being so casual about it? Like, I get fear does crazy things to people, but why would you be next to the killer? Wouldn't you want to flee? Wouldn't you want to get out? Wouldn't you want to find a safe place to be in? Like, I know I would. If I was in that situation, someone broke into my house and threatening to kill me with a weapon, you would want to not be with the killer. It gets even more bizarre.
How you doing?
Oh yeah.
What's going on, man?
So, even the cops, their interaction of this, and let me tell you, I have seen cops, the show Cops. I have seen live PD. I have seen countless cop videos. We've covered cop videos. We know how crazy and cringeworthy and insane they get. I mean, they are little maniacs running around the street like a street gang. This is just so, it's so crazy because you have one of the most influential people in politics about to be attacked. And the cops just seem so casual about it. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, you two? I heard some noise, a disturbance over here. We just want to make sure. What's up? What's up? What's up with you guys? Whereas compared to all the times I've seen cop videos, body cam videos of them screaming and yelling at citizens. I literally saw one the other day where a cop was screaming at a 12-year-old kid for taking out his wallet. He thought it was a gun. The cop thought it was a gun and tased the 12-year-old for taking out his wallet, and he was screaming. The cop was screaming at the kid, hey, don't do that, don't do that. But they're just so casual here. Again, this is a guy who broke into Paul Pelosi's house, the Pelosi's house in San Francisco, with hardly any security, holding a weapon, threatening to kill Paul Pelosi, and everyone's acting so casual. Everybody. It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind. My years of forensic files binge watching is catching up. This is like a masterclass to figure out how this makes any sense.
Good.
But watch. So, I don't know if you could see the facial expression there. Notice how Paul Pelosi looks calm. Like, he's smiling. He looks like he's smiling in this scenario. You're next to a killer. He's got the weapon in his hand. He's threatening to murder you. And Paul Pelosi is smiling. He's giddy about it. I don't know if that's a nervous smile, because I know, again, fear does a lot of things to people. Maybe it's a nervous smile, like, everything's fine, everything's good. I don't know if it's one of those, but if I was in that scenario, I would not be so chill. I would not be calm. I would try to find a way to get out. I would try to run away. I would flee. I would do something, anything, to be out of that situation. It's just so bizarre. And then they show the flashlight there.
All right. Drop the hammer.
And again, even the cops' interaction. Drop the hammer. I saw, again, a 12-year-old got screamed for taking out his wallet. They thought it was a gun. Screaming at him like a maniac. They don't do it to this guy. Oh, just drop the hammer. This is a guy that's about to kill one of the most political people in Washington. The top-notch political family in the United States. And you're there's no real reaction to it. Like, it's just it's insane.
Nope. Hey.
So he's holding on to the hammer there. But notice his other hand. What's his other hand doing? Because if one's holding on to the hammer, then why is he not using his other hand? Well, it turns out, if you can see there, he's holding on to a drink. He's holding on to a cocktail. Which makes it even more suspicious. If you're in that scenario, your life is about to be threatened by one individual, you're going to be holding on to a cocktail while this is going on? Like, you must be a proven alcoholic then to straddle down a beverage in one hand while holding the murderous weapon in another hand. Like, you got to be crazily an alcoholic, like, to the bone to do something like that. Like, your life is about to be threatened, but boy, it's a good thing my scotch is safe. I want to preserve my precious cargo. My Bartles and James is perfectly safe. I like to mark my alcoholic drinks safe from this scenario. Like that little Facebook thing. This is just why? Why are you holding on to a what? This is so weird. Why are you next to the guy? Why would you not flee? Why would you not drop the drink, get the hell out of there, and let the cops go in and tackle this guy? You would think that's normal cop behavior. I've seen enough police officers do it on the regular, even with the most innocent civilians, which is why cops are very unhinged. They're crazed lunatics. So why are they not being crazed lunatics in this situation? Like, this seems like the perfect opportunity to do that, but they're not. And it makes me even more suspicious.
I'm not getting an answer on call back.
Bro, oh shit!
Calls in the area that he's coming in, yeah.
I got him, Michael.
So then they go and tackle him.
Edward 14 Everton, backup code 3.
Code 3 back up at 26.
Give me your fucking hand!
Units code 3.
Give me your fucking hand!
40 Broadway for 14 hours.
So now they're yelling when he's down. This does not make sense. This does not make sense. So they're now screaming, give me your fucking hand. Give me your fucking hand. As he's down. But they didn't say it when he was holding the weapon. They didn't say it when he was next to Paul Pelosi. They didn't say it at the time when it really mattered. But now they say, give me your fucking hand. I don't understand this. I really don't. This is just making this case even more bizarre than it already was. And that's why people are having conspiracy theories about it, because nothing adds up. Nothing adds up to this case. Nothing. The fact that it was only reported for a week and a half, nobody said anything about this. Nobody has questioned these people. I'm not even sure if this guy got interviewed, which I know it seems crazy to interview the suspect that was trying to kill this guy, but I mean, they interviewed Jeffrey Dahmer, for God's sakes. They interviewed Charlie Manson once in prison. They've interviewed crazier people than that. Like, it is phenomenal how this particular story, got so much attention for about a week, and then they swept it under the rug. They tried to sweep this under the rug. This should be this should be the story of the year. And not a word has been mentioned about this. Not a single word. And they wouldn't even release this evidence if it wasn't for one person who filed a Freedom of Information Act in order to get this information. So I am mind blown at how crazy this all is. How this makes absolutely no sense. How nothing is aligned together. How this seems like an orchestration. It seems like they had to do something. No one just walks in that casually to a place with lax security, which is suspicious that the Pelosi's have no security cameras, no CCTV, none of that. None of that in their billion-dollar mansion. They would not have any of that. Not even a gate. I don't know. I don't know the mansion. I don't know what the mansion looks like, but Jesus. You think with that kind of money and those kind of people, they would have top-notch security. You would think. But the cop just casually goes in after a 911 call and just makes it seem so casual. Seems so casual. Something has to be up. Something has to be up. They have to know something that they already knew in this situation that we don't know, which is making this all too bizarre. And one of the things that also makes this bizarre is, remember this? So they reported this on all the mainstream networks, and one in particular got so outraged by the reporting that they fired the guy, or they temporarily suspended him. And you remember when this happened? So Daily Mail reminds us, in from the cold, NBC News' Miguel Algamer quietly returns to air to deliver weather report after network suspended Emmy Award winner for inaccuracies over Paul Pelosi hammer story. Inaccuracies. And notice how that's in quotations. Because they're not even sure if it was inaccurate. But they suspended the person. They suspended a journalist for investigating a crime that we didn't even have full information about. That is just outright insane. That they had to know something. They had to know something about this that offended the network, that they had to temporarily suspend their journalist for reporting a crime that they didn't even have full information on. And even the byline, this is what makes it even more bizarre, because the network came back, NBC came back to this guy, and remember when they said he was suspended after his delivered a report on the Paul Pelosi attack that the network said was not up to its standard? That was their excuse for this guy. That was their excuse for suspending a journalist for asking questions about a murderous crime. It was not up to their standard. Well, I don't know. I don't know who to believe more. A person who was actually at the scene of the crime talking to the police officers who were there, or the network heads that are in New York right now that are sitting in their penthouses making decision calls. Who do I believe more in a story like this? I would think it'd be the person who actually went to the scene of the crime and is asking questions. But it apparently doesn't live up to their standards at NBC News. It doesn't live up to their standard. I don't know what standards they're talking about at NBC News. I don't know what the standard is. I thought that would be pretty, when a crime happens, especially for someone like Paul Pelosi, you think they would not temporarily suspend someone just trying to make journalism, just trying to ask simple questions. And let me just show you the report again that he made about this, and you tell me how inaccurate and how it's not up to the standard, according to NBC.
Craig, good morning. When officers arrived here at the Pelosi home exactly a week ago today, they initially didn't have any idea exactly what was going on. They knew they had a high priority call on their hand. What was unclear, what was happening inside.
I love how they say it's a high priority call. Unfortunately, I don't have the 911 call, the actual the voice of Paul Pelosi, which apparently that got released. I don't know where to find that exactly, but they say that he was nervous and that it was high priority, like it was emergency. Did it look like an emergency in the body cam video? Did it look like an emergency that police just walked on by and be casual about it? Did it look like a high priority case? When the main officer that's walking up to the house says, I don't need you guys, does it seem like a high priority to you?
Inside the property just behind me.
This morning, Paul Pelosi is home, back at the house that became a crime scene a week ago today. NBC News learning new details about the moments police arrived. Sources familiar with what unfolded in the Pelosi residence now revealing when officers responded to the high-priority call, they were seemingly unaware they'd been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or try to leave his home.
Again, where's the inaccuracy in that? They're just describing exactly what the body cam was showing. They're describing what the police told them. And what standards did this reporter violate? if he's trying to get information from the police who are at the scene of the crime and telling you exactly what happened in that scenario, and we just witnessed the body cam footage, where's the inaccuracies? Where's the violation of the standards at NBC?
But instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police. It's unclear if the 82-year-old was already injured or what his mental state was, say sources. According to court documents, when the officer asked what was going on, defendant smiled and said everything's good. But instantaneously, a struggle ensued as police clearly saw David DePape strike Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. After tackling the suspect, officers rushed to Mr. Pelosi, who was lying in a pool of blood.
What we do know is he brutally attacked Mr. Pelosi and attempted to kill him.
After spending several
We just saw it. We saw the proof. So, exactly where did the story got wrong? Where exactly did this journalist, this guy that got temporarily suspended and now doing weekend weather reports apparently, where did he go wrong? Where did he go wrong? That he was talking to the officers and the officers are explaining exactly what happened. And we saw body cam footage for the first time because they kept it a secret. That's why this whole thing is so suspicious. Why do you think there's so many conspiracy theorists on this? There wouldn't be so many conspiracy theorists if they stopped conspiring. That's kind of the point of a conspiracy theorist, is that somebody else is conspiring at something, they're doing something behind closed doors, and people are theorizing, or they're coming up with scenarios, or they're witnessing, or they're asking questions about what's actually happening. That's how you get conspiracy nuts. That's how you get conspiracy theorists. And really, they're just people that are concerned and are asking questions.
days in the ICU, Pelosi, who is recovering from a fractured skull and serious injuries to his arm and hand, is now home, where Capitol Police remain on alert. Investigators have previously said Pelosi did not know DePape when the 42-year-old broke into his home. Why Pelosi didn't try to flee or tell responding officers he was in distress is unclear.
Fear takes over. Fear freezes people.
This morning, the 82-year-old, lucky to be alive after an
See, even cops don't understand why Paul Pelosi did not flee. If you have someone broken into your house and threatening to kill you, why would you be standing next to said person? Why would you not be fleeing? Why would you not leave the scene? Why would you not seek shelter and safety and call 911 and get the cops involved at a situation like this? Like, everybody's asking questions about this. It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind, and they kept it in the dark for so long until someone decided, hey, we need to release the information. We need to release some evidence on this because nothing is adding up to this. Nothing that they've said originally is adding up. And just how bizarre and strange and this case is. And also that the fact that the FBI said about fear is pretty interesting. That, okay, so maybe he stood there because he was in fear. Like I said, fear does crazy things to people. People get paranoid, they do stupid shit, they go insane, they don't think rationally. Yes, fear does that to a lot of people. But it's crazy. It does not add up. It does not add up.
Intruder nearly killed him in his own home.
Law enforcement officials tell us the bottom line here is this was a terrifying situation. We still don't know exactly what unfolded between Mr. Pelosi and the suspect for the 30 minutes they were alone inside that house before police arrived. Officials who were investigating this matter would not go into further details about these new details. Craig, back to you.
They don't have any details on those details. And those details will be coming at details around the 11 o'clock hour. It's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? I'm sorry. I had to add that in. I have to add that in. That's a hilarious way to put it. We don't have details on the details. But we'll find out those details later in the broadcast of details. The details are coming at 11. Brought to you by Pfizer. Anyway. This is just the most bizarre thing ever imagined. Like I said, the times that I've seen Forensic Files and First 48, I watched all those shows. I know what it's all about. Sometimes I have a bit of an unhinged enjoyment from it. I don't know if that's should be concerning to people, but from every true crime show I've ever witnessed, this has got to be the most bizarre thing ever to imagine. And no one seems to be asking questions. No one seems to be holding this account. Again, the fact that it got the most media attention and then the least media attention is so suspicious. And then they finally kept it out of the dark because someone had to file a request, a Freedom of Information request, to get the body cam footage. Why would they keep this all a secret? Why would they keep this all a secret that a deranged lunatic broke into one of the most richest, wealthiest political families in North America and probably the entire globe? Why would they keep that under dark? Why would this not be concerning to people? And why would there be lack of security? Why would the cops be so casual about it? Why would the cops say right at the beginning of the body cam footage, I don't need you guys here? As if he knows what's going to happen. And why was Paul Pelosi so calm? Why was Paul Pelosi standing next to said killer with the weapon, holding a cocktail in his other hand, and being so calm about this? Nothing from the original story adds up to this. And I am baffled. I am mind blown. I am flabbergasted. I'm all those words. I'm surprised I know that many words. On just how deranged this story gets. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be even more derangement to come. Because more and more people are becoming suspicious. More and more people are filing Freedom of Information Acts to expose this case, and they should, because keeping this under the dark is hiding something that they don't want to reveal. Again, the reason we have conspiracy theorists is because they're conspiring. And the fact that they're keeping this under the dark is just, it's suspicious, and people should be suspicious of the whole thing. I don't know what details arrive. I don't know what else there is to say about this. But it's just, it's so bizarre. Utterly so bizarre. That how this unfolded, how it's being reported, that the guy that's reporting what cops are telling him that we just saw in the body cam footage got suspended because it didn't hold up to network standards. What the hell that was about. We don't even know what the hell NBC is thinking about that. And just how bizarre this all is. I really don't know. I really don't know. And it's just, it boggles my mind, and it's asking more questions than it's resolving. And people need to know what the hell is going on.